everyone, today I'm here to do a recommendations video. Today I'm recommending sci-fi books. First and foremost, I'm only going to mention like 6 books today. Not a lot for a recommendations video, but I honestly don't read too much sci-fi, so I'm pretty much talking about all the sci-fi books I've read. So this is going to be a kind of recommendations of, of what sci-fi books I've liked and what sci-fi books I've tested out the water with. And maybe it can also be a recommendations video for you to recommend sci-fi books to me, because like I said, I'm mentioning like none. There's like 6 of them I'm going to talk about. I'm sure you've heard of like all of them, but either way, I just wanted to recommend to you some sci-fi. If you're interested in getting into sci-fi, much like myself, I'm very much a newbie when it comes to sci-fi. I enjoy it, and there's a ton of sci-fi books I'm interested in, but I'm still wary of going into certain books. So if you could help me out with recommending some sci-fi books, that would be amazing, so you can see pretty much what type of sci-fi books I like within this video. I don't know, maybe this is like a, hey, help me out, give me some recommendations for sci-fi. But if you're new to sci-fi, this video would be great for you because you can test the water out with these books. And if you're not new to sci-fi, you've already known about that book for like 50 years. I apologize. Either way, these are the sci-fi books that I really enjoy and I definitely would recommend. The first one I would talk about is the only one I actually don't own. I did own and I lent it out. I've never seen it since. And that is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Quite possibly my favorite sci-fi book I've ever read, and one of my favorite books of all time that I've ever read. I love this book. This book takes place in the year 2044, so it's kind of sci-fi and futuristic in the same knot. Follow Wade, who very much doesn't have a great life. He lives kind of not in the best place, but he really plays a lot in this virtual place called Oasis. Oasis is like this virtual thing that's taken over pretty much everything. Like, people have jobs within this virtual place. People like spend the majority of their day in Oasis. So Oasis is like a place where everyone goes to escape things. It's like a virtual world, and Wade very much likes to go to Oasis because there are Easter eggs hidden throughout Oasis from the creator. The creator was very much into 80s pop culture and things like that, so he's hidden clues. So Wade's been trying to find these clues for years and years and years, and finally he stumbles upon a clue, and then it ensues from there, and ensues from all this, like it becomes like a game almost, and he meets these other players that have found these clues, and whoever gets all these clues wins a prize. And it's really an amazing book. It's a great sci-fi book, but it definitely doesn't read sci-fi in my opinion. It reads almost like an adventure book with this huge adventure. It has a ton of 80s pop culture's references, which I love, and it's overall an amazing sci-fi book. Like, it's an amazing book, period, but probably one of the best sci-fi books I've ever read. I will recommend this book for forever because it's such a fun and awesome read. I know it's supposed to be a movie sometime. That news has been out for years that it's going to be a movie, but I think this is one of the few books I could actually see doing well as a movie, because sometimes book to movie adaptations don't do so well, but this one would be amazing. If you haven't read Ready Player One, you need to read it because it's such a fun time, honestly. It's so fun. The next one I'm going to recommend to you is probably one that you've heard of 50,000 times, and that is The Martian by Andy Weir. I, of course, read this because I wanted to see the movie, and a lot of times with movie adaptations, I try to read the book first the majority of the time, and I did with this one, and I'm really glad I did. This is actually one of my favorite sci-fi books, and it's one of my favorite book-to-movie adaptations I've ever seen, because like I said, sometimes they can go well, sometimes they cannot go well. The Martian is a great sci-fi read. It's all about this astronaut named Mark Watney. He goes up to a mission in Mars with the rest of his astronaut crew, only he accidentally gets left on Mars after this huge accident happens on Mars. So it's all about him trying to sustain his life on Mars, and it's a really great book. The only thing I don't like about this book, it gets muddled down with scientific jargon, so if you're not like a very smart scientific person like myself, you will get confused a ton while reading this, but it is still such an amazing book. The reason to read this alone is for the character of Mark Watney. He is so sarcastic, so funny, just amazing. This is like, I'd say right after Ready Player One is my favorite sci-fi book because I love astronaut like space stories. I want to read more, so if you have any recommendations for me in that aspect, please recommend them to me because I really love The Martian. Like, I already want to reread it, and I've heard the audiobook for this is also amazing. Moving on to my most recent sci-fi read, that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is kind of sci-fi slash thriller, if you will. I'm not sure. This is a total mind F-U-C-K. It will mess with your mind. I'll finish this book before you go to sleep. Trust me, because you're gonna have weird and bizarre dreams, because I did, because it is such an intense, insane book. This follows Jason, who is a college professor in this small college, and he has a wife and he has a son, and he's pretty happy with his life, but he's always wondering what if. And then one night he gets mugged and he gets drugged, and he wakes up one day and that his life is not his life anymore. He is not married. His son does not exist. He, instead of being this small-time professor, he is this huge acclaimed scientist that has this huge building and things like that, and he's trying to figure out how did this happen and how can he get back to his own life. This book is literally like it's a sci-fi book, yes, but it's a thriller. It'll keep you guessing. It'll keep you thinking. This book will make you think, are you happy with your life and the choices that you make and the scientific things that go along with that. This is an amazing book. Again, I think this could be an amazing movie. I even think the author is a screenwriter. This would probably do well as a movie. I could see it doing well, but it is a very intense book, and you can fly through it because you're going to want to fly through it because there's so many mysteries and so many open ends with everything. It's amazing. The last two series I want to talk about are both YA series. You already know what they are. The first one's going to be Across the Universe trilogy by Beth Revis. I read this a long time ago, and it's still one of my favorite trilogies. I just really enjoy it. It follows Amy, Amy boards this spaceship with her parents, and her parents are scientists, and they're frozen in sleep. And they're not supposed to be woken up until 300 years later when they land on this planet. Only Amy accidentally gets woken up 50 years before the spaceship reaches the planet they're supposed to go to. So it's a mystery with sci-fi because obviously they're in space and things are happening, and she's trying to figure out why she was awoken 50 years before. And I really love this trilogy. I think it's great. It's been a while since I've read it. I still really have fond memories of this series. It's a great sci-fi series. It has great romance. It's just a very good sci-fi YA series, honestly. I really enjoyed it. And the last two I want to mention are, of course, Illuminae and Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. These are books 1 and 2 in the Illuminae files. I think this is going to be a trilogy. I'm not quite sure. This is a sci-fi book where it's told in mixed media, so you get a lot of emails, you get a lot of like weird pages like that with text all, you get lots of drawings, you get a whole bunch of things like that. It's not told in your typical book format with, you know, just dialogue. It follows the planet Kenareza, I forget that, and it follows Amy and Ezra, and they just broke up, and then their planet gets attacked, so they both have to flee the planet, and they're both on different ships, and things are happening. Another fleet is following them and trying to destroy their ships, and that's all I really need to know. This book is best to go into not knowing too much about it because it is an amazing ride. These books are so action-packed, and they're so... And Gemina follows a different cast of characters, while still we're getting a little mix of our characters from this one, but overall I love this series. I say this is probably my favorite YA sci-fi for sure because it's just I love the way it's told in this mixed media format, and I love the story and how it's sci-fi, but then you have this whole action-adventure thing going on. It's amazing. So there you have it, the sci-fi books I wanted to recommend. Like I said, there's not a ton. I'm sorry for that, but I still wanted to recommend you some in case you are new and getting the sci-fi waters, just like myself, very much new, but you can clearly see. And if you are a sci-fi veteran of books, please recommend me some books down in the comments. I have been looking at one called The Wanderers, I want to say, but I'm not sure if that's more contemporary or sci-fi. It just came out this year, I want to say. If you've heard of it, let me know. But seriously, if you have any recommendations, please leave them down in the comments. I'm always looking for a good sci-fi book, and I want to get more into the genre because I do really enjoy it. If you have read these books or enjoyed these books or got anything from this video, please let me know down in the comments. And if you didn't get anything from this video, I am so sorry. Like I said, I'm still very much newbie when it comes to sci-fi. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe to see more bookish videos 3 times a week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.